The Ministry of National Security has been allocated $59.2 billion in the 2016-2017 estimates of expenditure. 55.7 of that amount will go towards recurrent expenditure, money that deals with housekeeping expenses. The remaining $3.5 billion will be used for development projects and programs. Every project or policy to be pursued within the ministry has the ultimate goal of maintaining law and order, protecting Jamaica against internal and external threats, and punishing and rehabilitating offenders. Upgrading the capacity of the Jamaica Defence Force JDF is a top priority in this legislative year. More vehicles will be purchased for them to carry out their operations. The military will also be able to make the final payment on an aircraft, and offshore patrol vessels will be refitted to beef up security across the nation's borders. Through a $1.7 billion allocation in the budget, the construction of the new integrated accommodation, office and storage facilities at Lathbury Barracks Up Park Camp will also continue. In terms of recurrent expenditure, the JDF will get roughly $16.1 billion to take care of their housekeeping expenses. $230 million of that amount will come from their own earnings. Like the military, police personnel will also be given additional resources to fight crime. $400 million has been set aside to purchase vehicles. National Security Minister Robert Montague announced recently that there's a proposal to buy used cars so that more vehicles can be added to the fleet. That proposal is still being considered.
I've asked the ministry to develop that policy, and they are working on it, and as soon as it is ready, they are doing some consultations because some persons are for, some are against, and we are trying to listen to all who has an opinion, and so that a policy that will come out will be satisfactory.
The JCF's communication and surveillance system is also expected to be upgraded, and a facelift is in the pipeline for some police stations. In the 2016-2017 legislative year, the Department of Correctional Services will also be getting more tools to get the job done. Mobility will be increased through the purchasing of vehicles. As for the physical infrastructure of correctional centers,
where we can't have a brand new facility, we may be able to make an assessment of what needs to be modified, what may need to be abandoned, the places that will have to be restored.
And so $253 million has been set aside to improve its buildings. In addition, the construction of the 306-bed dormitory at the Tamarind Farm Correctional Center is expected to be completed this year and inmates transferred to the facility. The South Camp Rehabilitation Center in St. Andrew will also be retrofitted. Both projects should cost $286 million. The Ministry of National Security will be carrying out 4 main projects in this legislative year through funding support from international partners. The Jamaica National Crime Victimization Survey will measure the public's exposure to crime as reported by victims. That data, which will measure crime trends, will help to formulate policies to improve public safety. The Justice, Security, Accountability and Transparency Project will also continue to strengthen the regulatory framework of the security and justice system. In terms of social intervention, Phase 3 of the Citizen Security and Justice Program will continue. Over $1 billion has been allocated to the program. Emphasis will be placed on conflict resolution, social inclusion and safety. Those who come in conflict with the law will not be left out. The project to rehabilitate and reintegrate local offenders and deported persons will also continue. Meanwhile, the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency PICA will continue to fund its operations. PICA, which will maintain its Model B status as an executive agency, will fully fund the amount budgeted for recurrent expenditure, $2.2 billion. The Ministry of National Security making more resources available to crime fighters while embarking on a number of programs to maintain law and order in the 2016-2017 fiscal year.